Hey there, it's Brad Dohak, broker owner here at Gulf Point Properties. And within the next week, we're going to have a storm that appears to be coming into our area. And for you as a landlord, I wanted to talk about what that means for you and your property, because that, again, is our priority. So one thing that I will say is we always want to make sure that everybody is safe, first and foremost. That's a really big deal. We have to assume and plan for the worst when it comes to hurricanes. We're in Florida, this is fairly normal. And we have seen many times where the forecast shows it's coming to our area, but it shifts and goes away. So hopefully that's what happens here in this case. But assuming that that does not happen, what do we need to do at this point? And that's the point of this video. And so for you as a homeowner, there's a couple of things, a couple of recommendations that we have. Number one comes to hurricane shutters. Hurricane shutters are, some homes have them, some homes do not. And how does all of that work? Now, as a company, we at Gulf Point Properties don't have the manpower to be able to put hurricane shutters on, nor does any property management company for that matter. And so in the property management agreement, it's outlined that we don't have that responsibility. However, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't look into it. Now, it's not necessarily your legal obligation or the tenant's legal obligation to do so, but you do want to make sure that if you have a homeowner's insurance policy, I would call your homeowner's insurance carrier and ask them about that, because if you have shutters and you don't put those up, then you may be liable for any damage that's caused because you had the protection and didn't do that. I just want to make sure that you're aware of that. Now, best case scenario, you do have shutters and you want to put those up. Our recommendation around that is the homeowners associations, neighbors. Generally speaking, when there's a storm coming, there are people in the neighborhood who go and help and look to make an extra buck, to put them up. We're working to see if any other vendors can be of help there, and we will offer any service that we can from that perspective. But again, with the number of clientele, it's certainly something that we cannot guarantee. So we want to make sure that you're aware of that and can get ahead of that as much as possible. We're seeing on the ground already here in Southwest Florida that people are hitting up the stores, buying all of the water, buying all of the propane, the things that happen as a storm is heading our way. And so the same goes for plywood or any of the other supplies that people want to try to board up windows, etc. So getting an early jump on this is a very helpful thing. We were here through Hurricane Irma, and resources just became so limited. All stores would be out of any kind of plywood, any kind of shutters, generators, name all of those things. Stores would be completely out of it. So getting a quick jump start on that is certainly better. Now, when it comes to property, if you have any property damage, we're going to be asking the tenants that they report that into the portal so that we can have the information documented from them. Sometimes, if a storm is bad enough, the transportation around Southwest Florida becomes quite limited, and we just don't know what we're going to be working with at this point. So the tenant who is on site at the property is really the best first course of action for uploading any potential issues there. Now, if the property happens to be vacant at the moment, then obviously we'll work to get by and check everybody's property out who is in that situation. The other thing that we'll mention is that if you need to communicate with the tenant for any reason, we're happy to share that contact information with you. What we would ask is that you send an email to rentals@gulfpointproperties.com. Again, that's rentals@gulfpointproperties.com, and request that information, because if there's anything relating to communicating about hurricane shutters or anything else for that matter, that's certainly something that we're happy to help provide. Now, as I mentioned previously, we want the storm just to pass on by and not become an issue, but we want to be able to have you informed and a plan. At the end of the day, we take care of and care for your property, and we take a huge amount of pride in that and your trust in us. So you can count on us to communicate with you. Now, if there is a big storm that comes through, there is a high likelihood that communication will be a challenge, and that could be by the number of communication coming in or if communication communication has been challenged, meaning we have power out or anything like that, that could cause some issues. So if that does happen, we would just ask that you have some patience, because and just rest assured that we're doing everything in our power to make sure that everything is as good as possible. And if there is damage, that we're jumping on getting that taken care of as quickly as possible as well. That's it for now. God bless. Thank you for always trusting us with your property to manage, and I hope you have an amazing week. Thank you.